Hey guys, welcome to FoundFlix. On this Ending Explained, we will be looking at the sequel Grave Encounters 2, introducing a new group of explorers that head to the Collingwood Hospital trying to discover the truth about what really happened to the first film's crew. And if you have any other TV or movie endings you'd like to see me explain, send them to me on my social media. Grave Encounters 2 takes a very meta approach to the story and expands much more on the supernatural mythology introduced in the first film, as well as showing us what happened to Grave Encounters lone survivor Lance Preston. So let's explore Grave Encounters 2, breaking down the film's big questions and explaining the ending. As I mentioned, the film takes a very meta approach, twisting reality and fiction together. This was also the case to some extent with the first movie Grave Encounters also being the name of a fake reality show the characters are a part of. And we are told by the show's producer in the first film who received the footage that the movie was assembled from the real found footage of Lance and his missing crew. So the movie we were watching was supposed to be considered a real documentary of what happened to them. However, in the sequel, the producer changes his story, saying that it was fake. So in the world of Grave Encounters 2, Grave Encounters is just a movie, not something that really happened. Or that's what the producer wants everyone to think. The film runs with this idea from the very opening, showing us various YouTubers giving their opinions on the first movie, and one kid, Alex, isn't a fan, calling it a pass and awarding it a measly 1 star. Well, that's pretty harsh, bro. You see, Alex fancies himself to be a filmmaker, and not just any filmmaker, but the best ever. Even a genius who will reinvent the horror genre. Well, wow, if you hate this guy already, too bad, because unfortunately this egotistical grubworm is our protagonist. So better get used to looking at him. Ugh. The first part of the film is light on ghosts, spending a lot of time introducing us to Alex's wonderful life at college, where he gets caught by his roommate Trevor beating his meat, forced to wear a humiliating costume for a Halloween party, and after getting wasted gets a ton of embarrassing pictures shared on Facebook. Our hero, everybody. Then one day, while checking the comments on his Grave Encounters review, Alex gets a strange video response from someone with the username Death Awaits. In the video, we appear to see Lance, the final survivor of the original Grave Encounters crew, who was last seen lobotomized by the evil spirits in the hospital. But wait, isn't Grave Encounters just supposed to be a movie? After the video, Alex isn't so sure anymore and finds the real hospital where the movie was filmed, finding out that the doctor and lobotomies were all real. Then gathers his friends Trevor and crush Jennifer to rewatch the first film. Afterwards, the two think that the movie sucked and was definitely fake. But Alex starts further believing that it is real, and does another video on his channel reaching out to people involved in the movie, wanting to get in contact with them to get some answers. Later, he receives another response from Death Awaits with a photo of Sean Rogerson, the actor who played Lance in Grave Encounters in real life. Ugh, this is just getting confusing, so I'm just gonna keep calling him Lance. And thanks to a phone number attached, leads them to his mother's house. We initially think she might have some important insight to where her son is, but it turns out she is suffering from dementia. But Alex is undeterred in his search for proof and sets out to Los Angeles to find Jerry Hatfield, the producer of Grave Encounters. Pretending to be a production assistant, Alex goes undercover and finds him on set. At first, Jerry isn't interested in talking to him, kicking him off the set, but later relents, setting up a meeting for the next day, but no cameras. So of course, Alex brings a hidden camera to the meeting, and Jerry admits that the movie was all real. Jerry says he was scared to death when he saw the tapes, but with his company on the verge of bankruptcy, he saw an opportunity with the footage, and decided to turn it into a movie in a desperate bid to save his own ass. Further revealing more details as to how his plan came together, in a hilariously meta moment, he introduces us to the Vicious brothers, who he says are his interns, and had them pretend to be the directors of the movie. In case you didn't know, the Vicious brothers did in real life direct the first Grave Encounters, as well as scripting the second. So it being revealed that they are really interns working for this scumbag producer is pretty hilarious. Get back to work, you bums! Alex is stupefied, asking how he got away with all this, and Jerry says he already has, as there is no proof and no one will believe him. And when showing Jerry's undercover confessions to his pals, they agree that no one will believe them without proof. Of course, this gives Alex a brilliant idea. An idea for a new movie that will be part horror and documentary. They will head to the Collingwood Hospital themselves and tape the whole thing to finally learn the truth and make a kick-ass movie. So it's off to Canada, joined by floozy friend Tessa and Jared, heading to the hospital where Lance and the Grave Encounters crew were last seen. Upon arriving, they have some trouble getting in due to security guard, but are eventually able to bypass him, entering the doors of the building, still ominously marked "Death Awaits." Now inside, they set up night vision cameras around the same paranormal hotspots as before, including the tunnels underneath where Lance was last seen. They also go to the room where TC was taken and record some EVP, hoping to contact him, but to no avail. They are also intelligently placing glow sticks to not lose their way and have air horns to use in case they get separated. And most importantly, have high-tech thermal imaging on their cameras, which they use to watch Trevor fart. Fancy! Hours later, waiting at the location they are supposed to meet Death Awaits, they randomly uncover a spirit board under some newspapers and decide to try to use it to reach out to the hospital spirits. Because of course you would! And Alex asks for a name, the board spelling out Death Awaits. Wait a minute, that means Death Awaits is not a person, but a spirit that was obviously luring them here. And yes, ghosts can send video responses on YouTube, deal with it. But their problems are beyond ghost messages, as the planchette suddenly goes off on its own, followed by the tables and chairs flying up on their own and flung around the room. So yeah, even though this movie plays with the idea of the first being fake, the ghosts are real, just to clarify that. And now Alex and the others are aware of this as well. After hiding in a room for a while, the security guard discovers them, informing them that being on the property is a criminal offense and intends to take them in. But a weird noise rings out from upstairs, and the security guard goes to check it out on his own, warning the others to stay where they are. Hearing gunshots nearby, they chase after it, but when arriving where the sound was coming from, the guard has disappeared. Everyone is freaked out and had enough at this point, and go to collect their equipment before anything else spooky happens. In one paranormal hotspot room, Jared goes to retrieve the camera, and the window opens by itself behind him, the same as seen in the first film. But this time the window doesn't just open, and Jared is violently flung through the window by an invisible force, and most certainly falling to his death. After the others make it there and see the footage of what happened to Jared, they are even more ready to get the hell out of there. Then when they reach where the front entrance should be, there is only a solid wall. This is because the hospital is physically changing its shape in order to keep Alex and his pals trapped inside. Once you enter Collingwood, there are only two ways out if you remember: lobotomy or death. They continue to hopelessly follow the map, finding themselves in a children's ward with toys and creepy dolls everywhere. They spin around and see a girl appear on the bed, brushing her hair, who cordially asks them if they would like to play. Well, sure, little girl, I can't imagine there's anything to worry about here. Let's play! But then her face distorts into the demonic visage of the hospital spirits, chasing after them down the hall. Oh right, the ghosts are evil. Forgot about that. Already the walls have changed positions again, and Tessa is separated from the group, making her way through the dark alone, and Tessa is attacked. She fights back, but the force kills her, dragging her body away. The others continue through the hospital, finding the security guard strapped to a table, receiving electroshock therapy to a dangerous degree. They shut off the machine, ending his torture momentarily, but it kicks back on by itself, even stronger than before, causing his body to catch on fire. Well, it looks like he's toast, because he was burned alive. Alex and the others continue searching for a way out, coming across a window where the grating is coming off and are able to pry it loose. But a big long-faced dude appears, grabbing Trevor, chasing after them. At the entrance, it appears again right behind them, but dissolves into ash at the barrier of the front door. So the spirits are trapped in the hospital and literally can't move beyond the perimeter of the building. Hey, wait a minute, they made it outside! They're out! Then they drive back to the hotel room in their van, packing up their stuff and getting into an elevator watched by a creepy maid as the doors close. And the elevator doors open, revealing the tunnels underneath the hospital. So they obviously didn't make it out at all. And that whole sequence of them leaving was just the ghost messing with them to show them how futile escape is. After getting some sleep, they journey down the tunnels, encountering a fog that rolls in, the same fog that consumed Sasha down here in part 1. Then suddenly a long-haired man emerges from the cloud, helping them escape into the air vents. It's Lance, still alive in the hospital, and based on his appearance, he has been here for quite some time, and at this point has completely lost his mind. I also am glad to see that he still has his lead pipe he took from a bed in part 1. Who knows if a pipe would actually do any good against a ghost? Probably not, but I found it pretty funny that he held onto the pipe this whole time. So how long has he been in here anyway? Based on how time moves, he believes he's only been trapped a few months, but because the hospital bends time, he has been inside for 9 years. No wonder he's lost his mind. Poor bastard's been outrunning ghosts and eating rats for almost a decade. But it's thanks to Lance surviving this long that he has started to learn more about how the hospital works, knowing the timing of when the walls change, and is able to actually map the hospital, describing it as bigger than a city. But there are patterns to follow, and has explored every door in the building, except for one, a chained up freestanding red door that looks like it couldn't possibly go anywhere, but Lance believes this must be the way out, even though they are unsure of his mental stability. And remembering they have bolt cutters amongst their equipment, follow Lance through the hospital, using the changing patterns of the walls to access where they need to go. Now, having been inside for 27 hours, they decide to rest before heading back to the door. And at one point in the night, we see the camera lift itself out of their bag, floating in the air and filming the group sleeping. Yes, the ghost is operating the camera. It's like, hey, you guys need some B-roll of you sleeping. Don't worry, I got it. Trevor wakes up, obviously struggling with the situation, heading to the bathroom and recording his last will and testament, coming across Lance, who beats Trevor with his pipe, choking the life out of him, apologizing, saying he made me do it. So it looks like Lance is doing the bidding of Dr. Friedkin, the main ghost that runs the hospital, and we find out more about what that's all about in a bit. The others wake up later, finding Trevor's body, realizing it was Lance who was responsible for killing him, and that he also took their equipment and the bolt cutters. Luckily, they still have Lance's map, which they are able to decode and use it to follow him to get the bolt cutters back and get through the door. Meanwhile, Lance at the door cuts the bolt, opening it and stepping through. But nothing happens. Frustrated, Lance returns to the room with writing covering the walls, screaming out to the spirits, saying based on what the spirits had written previously, he should have been able to exit via the door. And the spirits respond, writing on the wall to bring him the tapes. Finish the film, it says, even larger, crumbling part of the wall. See, I told you the ghosts were trying to help with the movie. The others follow the map, coming across what Jennifer believes has to be the way forward. But it's through the surgical ward, which Lance told them specifically to avoid, as that's where Dr. Friedkin is doing his experiments. In case you don't remember, Friedkin was a notorious doctor that initially ran the hospital with horrible conditions for the patients, usually involving lots of lobotomies and electroshock treatments. After he was murdered by a patient, Friedkin was able to harness the power of the spirit world to stay at the hospital with the ghost of the other patients that died there, where to this day he continues his experiments on anyone that happens to be unlucky enough to enter the building. So yeah, they definitely don't want to go right into the lion's den, but since they don't really have a choice, they cautiously enter, coming across strange ritualistic items and a drawing of what looks like a portal. At a gurney, the lights flicker and nearby Friedkin's nurse spirits appear, bringing a man into the room and the others hide. Oh boy, experiment time! Dr. Friedkin enters, inserting a very long rod into the man's nose, chiseling it in. What's a good experiment without a little sacrifice? And Friedkin is handed a baby, revealing a pentagram on the ceiling as Friedkin begins to recite a ritual, then slashing the baby's throat, letting the blood spill onto the man. This shows us a bit more as to what Friedkin is all about, and seems to clarify that the powers at play in the hospital are fueled by evil satanic rituals. And it looks like time has run out for Alex and Jen, who are caught, and they hightail it out of there, hiding in a closet. But suddenly the walls shift again and find themselves in the room with the red door, with no sign of Lance around, and they assume that he must have gotten out. But Lance is still there, laughing insanely from the corner, saying it doesn't work that way. As the cameras all float into the air on their own, Lance says if one gets the tapes, they can go home, demanding that Alex hand over their footage. But he refuses, saying it's his film, and Lance rushes at him, pinning him to the ground and choking him, saying the building chose him. Jen surprises Lance from behind, bashing him on the back of the head with his pipe, but before they can keep fighting anymore, a wind begins to blow mysteriously out of nowhere. And as lightning strikes, a portal appears in the wall, just like that scene in the drawing in Friedkin's lab. It increases in intensity, pulling things towards it, including Lance, who hangs onto a pillar for dear life, pleading with the spirits, saying he did what they said and calling them liars. And Lance loses his grip, getting sucked into the portal, which promptly disappears. Well, that was definitely odd, and the only foreshadowing of this in any way is the picture of the portal amongst Friedkin's things seen earlier. It seems that the ever-changing walls of the building could be due to portals being created by Friedkin, tied to his experiments involving mashing together the real and spirit world. And that appears to be the end of of our beloved Grave Encounters host Lance Preston sucked into a mysterious portal and disappearing into the void. But, you know, technically he didn't get killed, and we don't know where that portal goes. So Lance could still be alive. Maybe trapped in the spirit world or something. After all the craziness, Jennifer is unsure of what to do now, but Alex finally understands, coldly staring forward and saying over and over he has to finish the film. He realizes that is why the spirits had reached out to him in the first place, to bring him and his friends to the building because it wants an audience. Basically to bring more people to the hospital for Friedkin's experiments. And based on what Lance was saying, only one is allowed to leave. So Alex tells Jennifer he's figured out the ending to his film, and you're the star! Then beats her mercilessly over and over with the camera, pounding her face to bits. Well, he does apologize to her while bashing her face in, but I don't think that really makes anything any better. Approaching the camera, Alex tells the spirits that he will do it. He will finish the film, ensuring them that others will come just like they want. He gathers all the cameras up, again walking to the big red door. And this time when opening it, he finds himself in a hallway with blinding light at the end, finding himself outside in a desolate desert setting. And behind him, the door collapses into nothing, leaving him all alone, but at least finally out of the hospital. But of course, he has to follow through with what he promised to the spirits and finish the film. And it seems the spirits lent him a hand in this regard, dropping him off in what he finds out is Los Angeles, home to Jerry Hatfield. Who better to bring the sequel to? We see the two together on the verge of the release of Grave Encounters 2. Jerry wants to make it clear this time that it is all fake. None of it really happened. But of course, we know the truth. It's all real and designed to reach the largest audience possible to bring more people to the hospital. Alex kind of toys with this, limply saying it's not real and to not go looking for the building because there's nothing there. And of course, making curious people even more interested in investigating the hospital. So Alex did it, you guys. Aren't you so happy? He's a successful director. Of course, all he had to do was kill his crush and assemble all the tragic footage together of what happened because a bunch of ghosts told him to. But I guess that's just how you make it in Hollywood.
Hey everybody, Chet Winters here. Everyone else is dead, but I'm still here. I've been trapped in this haunted house for about a decade now. If I find that ghost bitch again, he's gonna meet Mr. Broomy Broom, I'll tell you what. So that's why I am here today, and I've tracked him down to the last time that we saw him, right behind this closet door. All right, I'm gonna get the jump on him this time. Ow! Oh, eat it! Not back there. It's a shocking development. I'm not sure where the ghost could be. What the? Oh! He's right on me! He's choking me! Oh, come get some, ghost bitch! Well, there you have it, folks. We finally did it. Killed the ghost. And it turns out you can use physical objects to hurt spirits, so who knew? For ghostly interactions, I'm the guy. See you next time. How do I get out of here? God damn it.
What did you guys think of Grave Encounters 2 and its ending? Do you think that Lance is somehow still alive? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow. Thanks for watching FoundFlix. See you next time.